How much do you like doubles?
I love those doubles. They're the
All right,
best.
talk them through it. I'll do the demo, but you can talk them through the doubles.
All right, so with doubles, the key here is we're tying cause to effect. It's going to validate whether your inputs are correct and consistent or whether they're not. You kind of got a taste of it with what you did already, but the intent of doubles, and we're not just firing, 2 pair. We're going to fire 4 pair. All right, and you can fire more than that, but generally 4 pair, so a total of 8 rounds. We're trying to keep that consistency with our inputs or vision the same throughout that whole sequence and validate that, right? Again, to tie cause to effect. This is not an outcomes-based. It is not an outcomes-based thing, all right? So, on the buzzer, Ben's going to go ahead. He'll draw the gun, present the gun. He's going to fire a rapid pair. I don't care. It doesn't matter how long it takes him to get the gun to the spot. He's going to get the gun to the spot he wants, get the master grip he wants. He's going to fire a rapid pair. He's going to reset his sights, and he's going to fire another rapid pair. I don't care about the time in between the pair, but what we do care is that you're firing an aggressive pair, or aggressively between those 2 shots. Does that make sense? Right? Yeah. I'm not just blasting 8 rounds in the target. It should be present the gun, bang, bang, reset, bang, bang, reset, bang, bang, reset, for a total of 4 pair. All right?
So watch close. I'll give you a little example here. Versus this. All right, what did you see happen there on the second one? Yeah. So, like after the first pair, then I just started putting in pressure with my dominant hand more and more and more. And then you'd see the gun come down from recoil and be like wobbling. It was like, what the hell's going on? And my shooting actually slowed down, it looked like, because all the tension came into my hand and it became more effortful. Like, as you're shooting these strings, just like Dave's saying, we want to tie cause with effect. What is happening? Some guys go like this, like tense up, their shoulders come up, or visually they start staring at the sight as, of course, the string goes on. Maybe your left hand disconnects from the gun a little bit. Then you sense that loss of control. Then your dominant hand takes over and starts putting in too much input. Many, many things can happen. Again, just like Dave said, the idea here is tie the cause with the effect. We're shooting in like an observational state. After we shoot a couple hundred rounds on this, I'd like you to be able to clearly articulate what your tendencies are, even if they're not good. You understand what's going on. Like, that's where we want it to be, not so much that you can shoot times at a certain number. Now we're going to shoot a bunch of strings backing up. Let's back up a little bit.
Can I add one thing real quick?
Yeah, add it in, Dave.
So this is where we talk about process-based versus outcomes-based. You can come forward a little bit. Right? If I'm outcomes-based, right? Say I want to hit in and around the paster. Did we achieve the result?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, but is there a stark difference between his first set of doubles and his second? Right? That's what we're talking about, the process-based. The first iteration he did is how you want to do it, right? The inputs are consistent. They're what they need to be, no more, no less. That's what we want. The second set almost achieved a very similar result. So for outcomes, we're like, hey, that's good. And this has been the problem with like the shooting community and the training community. We're accepting outcomes-based instead of process-based. So as we want to develop as good shooters, remember, we're harsh in our criticism of ourselves. And we're judging the processes that we're using, not the outcome on the target. Make sense?
Yeah. Back up. All right, as we back up, nothing really changes on the drill. Let's back up a little. If you watch me, you'll see I'm not putting in a ton of effort or input. Ooh, I don't like that. Let's back up a little. Now this is where it gets pretty difficult from back here. Back on the gun. Let's do it again. There we go. Let's go down here.
Hey, the key that you saw, though, it's like who gives a shit if he threw a Delta or a Charlie? It doesn't matter. We hope he understands, like Ben understands what the issue was that forced him to do that. He made the correction and then did another iteration. Does that make sense? Now, if you get out here, you blast a bunch of rounds targeting, you got a fucking shotgun pattern, and you're like, oh man, and I ask you like, hey, do you know what happened? And you're like, I ain't got a clue, man, I blacked out. We got some other things going on. We should be assessing our stuff in real time so that we can make corrections to it and understand it. It's the same thing that's gonna apply in your dry fire.
Right, and then what I like to do for training is like, I'm going to go hard enough, I'm going to go fast enough, and I'm going to back up far enough that this becomes very challenging. I don't care like what gun it is. Like this gun I can get more out of obviously than like a plain Glock. But that means I'm going to try to get all the things. Like I'm going to back up, I'm going to be shooting very aggressively at distance. Like I can read how things are, you know, how the gun patterns and everything. And like, again, I'm trying to get the most out of it. You saw as we backed up, didn't really slow down a whole lot. Instead, I'm trying to be like as neutral as I can on the gun. Make sense to everybody? So we're gonna we'll shoot 5 yards, we'll back up to 20. You know, we get a lot of ammo and reps on this, so you should, again, have a good idea what your tendencies are. Awesome. Yeah, hit me.
Okay, so when I threw this Delta, it was because I didn't see the dot come back. I just fired the second
No.
round. So do I need to wait for that red dot for the second shot? Or...
No, I don't accept what you're saying.
Okay.
No, when you say you shot a Delta because you didn't see the dot come back.
Well, I wasn't. I looked through the window, I didn't see a dot, and I fired the round.
I understand. What I would say probably you're talking about this Delta?
Yeah.
What I think happened is you tensed up your hand, and like if we do an exercise here where I hold the gun, like watch the gun close, I'm gonna have 100% tension on my right hand, and then I shift it to 100% tension on my left. See how the gun moves? At what point in here do I lose awareness of the sights? Really? Well, I see my sight centered in the window here. I change grip tension like that, the dot's gone. So what I would say is, if you're shooting and you like tense up, like now the sight's out of the window, it's gone, and like you push the round down into the D zone. That's what I think the problem is. What you're giving me is a more complicated version is I want to slow down and get my hits. In which case, you would make the same mistake, like tense up your hand, boom, dot's gone. Now you don't pull the trigger, you recenter the sight, then you pull the trigger and hit an A, and you emotionally feel good about yourself, right? I want you to make the same mistake and feel bad.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make you shoot fast.
Mission accomplished.
Good.